Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Upkick MMA, episode 257. I am Brennan. UFC Fight Night, Sergei Pavlovich versus Curtis Blaydes. We're going to break down all the fights from the main card here. We're going to do the prelims in the next card, in the next video. So we're going to break all the fights down round by round. Not a lot of round breakdowns, lots of finishes here. So before we get started, real quick, if you like that kind of stuff, you like podcasts about MMA, you like MMA, you like the UFC, Bellator, I cover that stuff. Subscribe to the channel so you know the next video is coming out. Let's get into it. If you're looking for a specific fight breakdown, there are timestamps down below. All right. Sergei Pavlovich. Oh, man. This one. All right. Again, for those of you guys who are new, thank you for joining. I appreciate it. I am a Curtis Blaydes fan. I have been for a long time. Go back and watch some of my old episodes about him if you want to know the reason. It's a stupid reason, but I've been a huge fan of his for a long time. I maintain that when his best chance to get to the title was during that whole kerfuffle back and forth with DC and Stipe, and it didn't piss me off. It did at the time. It's one of those things where it's really unfortunate that he never got a chance to even fight for a title when he should have back in the day, right? He ends up, he lost. He gets finished here in the first round by another heavy hitter. You know, he's only been finished by the heaviest hitting guys in the UFC here. You know, he got finished by Francis Ngannou twice, Derek Lewis, and that's it. You know, his very first fight in the UFC was against Francis Ngannou. But at one point, he beat Justin Willis, Shamil Abdurakhimov, Junior Dos Santos, Alexander Volkov, and in that whole time frame, you know, in that 2019 to 2020 time frame, he never got a title shot because that's when Stipe Miocic and DC were having their trilogy. So because of that, he missed out on it, and that's 100% DC and the UFC's fault, right? They got pissed at Blaydes because he was tired after the Volkov fight, and he was talking a whole bunch of shit. They say he was talking shit. He said exactly what he was going to do. He said he was going to go out there and wrestle him, and that's how he did it, right? And then what happens? He loses to Derek Lewis, so then they don't have to put him in there. But then he beats Jairzinho Rozenstruik, Chris Daukaus, and then the Tom Aspinall thing. But the Jairzinho Rozenstruik was a great one. Chris Daukaus was on the rise at that point, and he finishes him. And then Tom Aspinall, that was unfortunate, but Aspinall was a big name. So instead of him getting a title shot here, because again, now we've got John Jones in the title picture, muddying things up. Listen, I'm coming across a little bitter here, okay? But I promise I will be positive. Just bear with me for another minute or two, and I promise I will be positive because I lurked of Sergei Pavlovich. I like Sergei Pavlovich. I really do. So, real quick, this is an unfortunate situation in which a fighter does nearly everything right. And he could have fought Francis Ngannou when Francis Ngannou was the champion. And yeah, they said, oh, well, he lost to him twice. Great. Then they could have put that to bed immediately. Heavyweight's one of the weird weight classes because in the men's division anyway, where if you get 2 good wins, you can get a title shot. So his main time frame that he had where he was on his win streak and he was beating the top contenders in the division, when he should have got a title shot, it wasn't going to happen because DC got his. And then DC gets a title, and then they have to have a rematch, and then they have to have the rubber match. Right? Instead of giving Blaydes a shot at the title. Okay? And you look back in history, and everybody's going to look back and see DC and see that, oh, he did all this stuff. And that's great. DC was a great fighter, but it really screwed Blaydes out of his opportunity. Do I think he would have won? I have no idea. In fact, I think Stipe would probably beat him. But I just wanted to see that fight happen once. I even wanted to see it when Stipe lost. Just to see if Blaydes could beat Stipe. No, that would justify and it would give me some gratification. I don't know if it would give him that, but it would ratify a bunch of thoughts that I had in my head that Curtis Blaydes had the talent to be the champion. He just doesn't have the heavyweight chin. And then now, when he gets 3 wins in a row again or 4 wins in a row, it doesn't matter because John Jones has to get the title shot. And John Jones is the champion and has to fight for... Like, what the fuck? Like, Cyril Gane gets a title shot immediately after that again. And then gets dog walked. Come on. Anyway, I feel bad because now Blaydes is... What's Blaydes going to do now? Keep fighting. They're just going to keep feeding him contenders, and either he grounds them out, or he has the talent to beat them, or they're a heavy hitter enough and they can catch him. That's the name of the game now. They're not interested in getting Blaydes to the title. They never were. They never will be. And I honestly don't think he's ever going to get it now. This was his last chance. It's not that he can't do it. It's just I don't see it happening because we have to wait for John Jones to either relinquish the belt or no, that's what we're going to have to do. Because nobody else is fighting for a title unless John Jones agrees to it. You think he's going to agree to fighting Sergei Pavlovich? He might, but he has to fight Stipe first for some reason. And then he might just retire. And then now who's champion? Now we're going to have Cyril Gane fight for the interim belt again. It's just a big mess because of this shit. Now, let's talk about this fight, shall we? Sergei Pavlovich throwing hard. He almost hurts Blaydes a couple times through the guard. Blaydes landed some straight rights to the chin over and over. He did a really good job when he was standing for a little bit, but he made a mistake, man. I don't know why he kept standing with him. I wish he would have wrestled more earlier on. Sergei landed an uppercut and overhand right, dropping Blaydes for a second. The jab from Sergei wobbled Blaydes, and then Blaydes got dropped with the uppercut, and he finished. Sergei ends up finishing it. He hit so freaking hard. Now, why am I excited about Pavlovich? Because he's on a, 7-fight win streak? 6, sorry. He's had 7 fights in the UFC, and he only lost his debut to Alistair Overeem. Since then, it's been Marcelo Golm, Maurice Green, that's an okay win. Shamil Abdurakhimov, that's a good win. Knocking out Derek Lewis, knocking out Tai Tuivasa, actually knocking out everybody. He has knocked out everyone. I could see him beating Derek Lewis's record for most knockouts if he stays in the game long enough, because he hits that hard. He's got great boxing. His hand speed's crazy good. He's fast. And let's look at the rankings. Like, where does he go from here? Sorry. Where does he go from here? Where does he go? Who does he fight, guys? You're going to make him fight Gane because John Jones has to fight Miocic? Is that what you're going to do? And then what? Here, let me pose a scenario to you and tell you. This is why this pisses me off. Not that John Jones is champion. Obviously, if he goes to heavyweight and beats people, he's a champion. That's a shit. Or the champion, whatever. He's a champion. And he won the fight just easily. So let's look at this. Let's say Jones fights Miocic. Let's say Jones wins versus Miocic. And then let's say Jones retires. In the meantime, who do you have Pavlovich fight? Who do you have him fight? Cyril Gane's the only one ranked above him. And arguably, he might not be after this. Sergei might move up to the number 1 spot. So let's say you have Pavlovich fight Gane. Okay? In the meantime, when Jones is waiting to fight Miocic or right after that. And then let's say Jones retires or gives up the belt or whatever. I don't freaking know what he's going to do. But let's say that happens. Now what do you do? Because if Gane beats Pavlovich, now who's fighting for the interim title? Probably not Pavlovich, huh? But if Pavlovich beats Gane, now who's fighting for the interim title? Miocic makes no sense. Gane makes no sense because he just beat him. Blaydes makes no sense because he just beat him. Tom Aspinall's been out, so if he gets an impressive win over somebody, then maybe. Tai Tuivasa is coming off a loss down here at number 6. Volkov is coming off a win, but he's ranked number 7. And now we're talking about way down in the rankings here. You see what you've done? Oh, I feel like the mic is... I feel like I'm getting a little too aggressive here. Sorry. Anyway, it's just this kind of stuff just drives me nuts. And I'm not mad that Curtis Blaydes lost, right? I think he had his opportunity. I think his time has passed. I didn't see him winning this fight, unfortunately. I saw a path to victory for him. I just didn't see him getting it done. It's just the way it is. So that being said, what I'm upset about is that the UFC finally has some fresh heavyweights to put in there, and they're killing off their contenders, or they have killed off their contenders. They're going to kill off their contenders. They're not making interesting fights anymore. Sorry, that's not true. They're making interesting fights, but it's not happening for the title. Ah, damn. Focus. Freaking camera. What a bummer. I always root for Curtis Blaydes. I'm bummed out. I'm not mad about it. I am bummed out because I wanted Curtis Blaydes to win, but hey, it is what it is. It's how this game works. Brad Tavares versus Bruno Silva. Well, Brad looked good until he didn't. Good grief. Tavares landed a left kick to the body a couple times. It was really hard. A hard left hook. Silva landing a hard jab and then another one of those. Tavares with the hard right kick to the body and then a 1-2. And again and again and again. Tavares just throwing that 1-2 over and over and over again. He just landed it so much. Silva landing a really hard right that hurt Tavares. Then they just started swinging back and forth, and they get in this 50-50 position. Silva landed a hard right hand and then gets the finish. But this stoppage was early, so if you did not watch this main card, I recommend it for the most part. You can skip. No, this is pretty good. Yeah, you could watch this whole card. It's not bad. Wow, focus. Damn camera. So this card isn't bad. I would go back and watch this. I know there was a lot of stuff going on this weekend. Right? We have Bellator. We have two Bellator cards. We got the UFC card. We've got the Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia, which I plan on watching later tonight, but I'm trying to get this in first. So there's a lot going on, so I could understand that this wasn't the top of your priority, but if you do like the UFC, I recommend going through and watching some of these throughout the week because they're pretty good. So this stoppage, this Bruno Silva win, this stoppage here was early. Probably about 2 or 3 punches too early because Tavares was still defending. He turned when he was on the ground. Yeah, he was rocked, but that's not how a fight ends. You don't stop a fight because they're rocked. You stop a fight because they're not intelligently defending themselves or to protect the fighter. Neither one of those cases neither one was the case here. Early stoppage, unfortunate, but congratulations to Bruno Silva. Bobby Green versus Jared Gordon. This fight was fun until it wasn't. Again, a fun fight to watch, right? So it's not disappointing on my end. It's more disappointing for them because they didn't get a satisfying finish here. Gordon was backing up, making Bobby lead the dance, and Green was doing a good job pressuring and throwing a lot out there. Jared was landing a left hook. Nice right hand from Gordon at one point. And then this clash of heads causes Gordon to get dropped, and then Green gets the finish with strikes on the ground. Now, Paul Felder got super mad about it, and he was like screaming and saying stuff, and then he says, he's like, oh, I am calming down. So I'm guessing someone on the production team or one of the other commentators was like, dude, calm down. So that's pretty funny. But yeah, this sucks for Gordon. And then this was kind of a shit show. Joe Martinez walks out there and he's like, and your winner by, and the commission will converse. He walks out of the octagon. What a freaking mess. But the clash of heads does cause it to be a no contest. So that is unfortunate for both guys. I see no reason to run this one back. I know that's the immediate answer for everybody. Oh, we need to run this back. Oh, run it back. We don't need to. Neither one of these guys, it's not going to affect the division. Let's just move on. just move on to something else. It was a good fight while it lasted. Iasmin Lucindo versus Brogan Walker. This fight wasn't bad. It was a little sloppy, but not bad. Low kicks were there for both women early, but Lucindo was landing the right hand straight as a counter, and she's landing it hard. Hard body kick and a really hard overhand right that lands for Lucindo. And she's just throwing so freaking hard. Whenever Walker stops moving, Lucindo landed 4 or 5 hard shots to the head. I say that, but yeah, okay, that makes sense. Striking numbers here were 17-8 in favor of Lucindo in the first round. And I thought it was one-way traffic. I gave it 10-9 to Lucindo. Lucindo was throwing hard and landing just like she did in the first round. She landed a spinning kick to the body, which was nice. She got a body lock takedown and got to mount. I gave her this round as well. If you look at the striking numbers here, it was actually 11-12. I didn't realize Walker landed so many strikes. Where did they come from? 6 shots to the body. I guess I missed those, or they didn't seem significant to me at the time, so I didn't count them. But with that takedown, that control time here in the second round, I know it's not much, but it's 44 seconds. She was on top, and she landed the harder strikes, giving her more damage. So I easily give her the second round. Last round, Lucindo was still swinging away, trying to end it with every punch. She ends the fight with a takedown, and that fight was hers from start to finish. No joke. 25-9 in favor of Lucindo for significant strikes in that last round. Great fight for her. For being a new fighter, relatively new to the UFC, I think this was her second UFC fight. She looks pretty good. She's still a really raw talent, very, very sporadic with her striking. There's not a ton of discipline when it comes to that stuff. She did win on all 3 judges' scorecards, 30-27, so that was a good one. All right, and Jeremiah Wells versus Matthew Semelsberger. Great. This fight was weird. So Semelsberger landed a hard right hand immediately, and he lands it again, and another one, and it drops Wells. Wells survives, gets a clinch and the takedown with 3 minutes and 15 seconds left in the first round. So remember that. Wells did some damage on the ground, and they get back up at 140. Wells separates, lands some really good hooks, gets the double, and back down on top, laying out some damage. Semelsberger got that knockdown early, which was great, but he didn't follow up with a ton of damage of it. Look, he only landed 11 total strikes in that first round. And Wells got some control time and a ton of damage himself. I went with Wells, but I could see an argument for Semelsberger for this first round. So if you look at the control time, 3 minutes and 30 seconds of control time, right? A majority of the round was spent with Wells in position. He did lay out some damage. It doesn't look... The reason why this round is close, because I thought it was close, right? Because Semelsberger with that knockdown or that couple knockdowns early on, I think you could give it to him. I just didn't see it that way. I felt like Wells did enough because he landed some hard shots of his own, especially when he was in tight, when he threw a couple of those hard hooks and then went right back to the takedown. But if you gave that to Semelsberger, I could understand it. It's just not how I scored it when I scored it live. Okay. So I had Wells up 10-9. And then Semelsberger with the right hand and a left hook, and Wells is down again immediately in the second round. But Wells lands the right hand of his own, really hard one, and then Semelsberger landing a short right. Wells gets the takedown with 3 minutes left this time. Wells spending most of the round on top, landing damage, and that should be his round again. So now look at the significant strikes. So Semelsberger lands less this round, dropped him less this round, and Wells only landed one less significant strike and had 3 minutes and 9 seconds of control time. So I gave him this round as well. This one I do not see for Semelsberger. I could see the first round for Semelsberger, just not this one. I don't feel like he landed enough damage when he had the opportunity. And then in the last round, wasn't the most exciting one. Left hook and a right hand from Semelsberger landing, but not as hard this time. And then Wells gets the lift and the slam takedown with 4:10 left. Wells really active in getting the takedowns multiple times in this round. I had him winning 30-27. So it is a split decision. Semelsberger seemed to understand it when they read it out. But Two judges, Eric Colon and Junichiro Kamijo. I've had my problems with their scoring in the past. I don't have a problem with these ones, but it doesn't make me feel good that I agree with them. Let's put it that way. And then Rick Winter here. I'm not as familiar with his work, and he's the one who scored those first 2 rounds for Semelsberger. Like I said, that first round, I could totally see it for Semelsberger. It's just not how I scored it live. I'm not going to begrudge him for giving him that round. All right, that is it for the main card. We are going to, if you're looking for the prelims, we're going to cover that in the next video. If this is the only video you watch this weekend, thank you so much for stopping by. If you like this video, click the like button. I appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel so you know the next videos are coming out. It helps out my channel, and I would really, really appreciate that too. If you are looking for any other fight breakdowns from any other fights, if you're going through in the UFC catalog for the past couple years, I have covered nearly every UFC card the past couple years. So if you're looking for someone who broke down the fights or you want to hear someone's opinion on them, I probably I most likely have a breakdown for those fights that you're watching. So go back and check out the back catalog. They're all listed and numbered, and they all have the event name on them. So if you're interested, go check those out. I would appreciate it. Okay, thank you so much for stopping by. Have an amazing week. Love y'all.